Hi guys, the audio was so bad in the last video that I had to make my own recording booth. But it looks like, I don't know, a modernized pillow fort. But you know what they say? Pillow forts are modern. But now let's get into the real video. Hi guys, I've been developing my game non-stop for these last few days. I've even gone live for a few times with varying success. But anyways, the reason why I've been developing so much, well, it's hard to explain, so let me give you an example. Me develop, me code, me break code, me fix code, me find broken code, me hide broken code, me call it a versatile system. But now let's get out of this intro and start the video. Really this time. Firstly, I finally did some visual work. Yeah, and why I didn't do this earlier? Well, the reason is that Unity's lighting sucks. You want to change your game's lighting according to the time of your day? Too bad, there's about a million different settings for this, and sometimes the value is same. So if you start the game in the morning and stop it in the night, next time you run the game, your morning will be darker than your ass. Okay, but I eventually got the system working and now it looks pretty good. I didn't have to change basically every material to look good with this new skybox, right? I did have to change all those materials, but it wasn't that bad. It only took like 5 days to do it. Now we have to discuss something. This game is in pretty ready state. This doesn't necessarily mean that it has any content. I've just gotten the systems in place that allow me to add some stuff, like new items. But what is the point of this segment? Why am I telling you this? Well, the point is to inform you that there is a pre-alpha version available for playtesters. Now, one person has already tested this game, and if you want access to this game, leave a comment and I will give you the link and the password to the game page. Well, you have to remember that the game is old and it has been built after the last devlog, so it doesn't have this stuff that we are discussing in this devlog, or at least most of it. But if you want the game, go get it. You may have seen my post where I asked you what gun should I add to the game. Well, we didn't get the results fast enough, so we couldn't get a gun for this video. Hold up. This feature seems like a stupid thing to add to a game about surviving on an island, but there is a good reason for this. As you may see, this game is a pretty generic survival game, and it doesn't have anything unique right now. And before you say that I am tripping, I have a storyline planned out for this gun. But anyway, I created this gun table, so when you decide what gun we should add, we can start forging guns with this gun table. And by the way, you can go vote the gun. There is a post on my channel post tabs where you can vote the gun, if you wonder how you can vote the gun. Are you dumb? You can't just start making guns on a remote island. Firstly, I don't appreciate you interrupting me, and secondly, you can make a gunsmithing table on a remote island if you have reinforced iron. How can you make this reinforced iron? Maybe smelt some iron and tungsten together? No, you can't make reinforced iron. The only way it can be obtained is through killing a reinforced golem. This reinforced golem can be spawned when you click on this statue. If you don't have a gold pickaxe, you are doomed. In the future, this reinforced iron can be used for making gun bars, but now it just can be used for this expensive desk. By the way, should I add grass to the game? I'm not entirely sure because I don't know what grass is. I haven't touched it since 2020. But all jokes aside, I touch grass on the daily. Just roll that clip. Look at all that grass. Oh shit, that's wrong clip. No, don't show that. I've said this many times, but this time I really mean it. I have made a versatile system that allows me to start adding stuff to the game. Literally. This time I really mean it. The only time in the past this was true is the time when I made the perk system. All the other times I've just made a bunch of if statements that mean that every time I add a new material or item, I need to manually write the code to detect it and calculate it in the inventory. But now I can just add a field to the structure in the unit editor and fill these names and types and whatever it needs. And now we have just registered a new resource and you can use it in crafting. How cool is that? Now let me show you how this crafting system really works. First of all, you want to copy an already existing recipe from the tab that you want, like stations or tools. Then you have to replace the icon and change the item that you get. Then you can just fill the materials you need in this structure and the system will check if you have those materials in your inventory, and then if you have them, you get the item and these materials are removed from your inventory. Pretty basic, but it is good, at least compared to the old system. Do you remember when I told you that the game doesn't have any stuff? Well, I kinda lied there. I'm sorry. As you saw, it is very easy to add new stuff to the game. So I added some tools like a tungsten pickaxe and a gold axe. In fact, I added a bunch of axes. But why am I telling you this? Because I can. This is my channel and I can do whatever I want. But the real reason is that now when we have all of this stuff, we can just show the player the entire game when he opens the crafting table. So I added recipes. Now, before you can craft an item or even see this item, you have to obtain a trigger object. For example, if you want to be able to craft a stone pickaxe, have to have gotten a rock, or if you want to craft a gold coin, you have to have a golden ingot at some point. Pretty basic. After that last segment, you're probably wondering, okay, who wrote the script? Nobody's wondering anything these days. After watching hours of brainrot content, nobody cares. Although you aren't wondering what are these new axes needed for, I will tell you anyway. I added these 4 types of axes. There are stone, iron, gold and tungsten axes. With these new kinds of axes, I added these new trees. Now there are 4 types of trees. There is a normal tree, a spruce tree, a birch tree and an oak tree. But you can't just get a stone axe and go chop an oak tree. Firstly, you'll have to get a normal tree with a stone axe. Then you can make an iron axe and go chop a spruce tree and so on. Now you have to use these new types of trees to make pickaxes too. So you can't just use normal tree for everything. Sorry, inflation hits hard. Figure it out in crypto. Speaking of crypto, let's talk about these new power-ups that I've added. As I have repeatedly told you, we have an extremely versatile system that allows us to add the new power-ups very easily. So go and tell me your power-up ideas in the comments. You have a chance to add something to a video game. Isn't that cool? But here are our new power-ups. This is a log that gives you an extra wood when you get one. And there are the coolest spring-loaded shoes that you've ever seen. They give you plus 10% jump height, and they're super cool. As you saw earlier, we added a mini-boss. Well, if you saw this odd bush in the gameplay's video, you have found our new mini-boss. It's a dead tree. Alright, a dead tree? Okay, listen. I saw a YouTube short that told me that when you inject a tree with some bacteria or something, you can grow some expensive wood. So I think that we'll add some cool wood as loot when you chop this tree down. Then you can use that wood as a gun handle or something. But this doesn't explain how this small bush can hurt you and prevent itself from being harvested. Well, those sharp branches will cut you for sure. This tree has two attacks. The first attack is this branch whoosh, and the second attack is this thing where these kind of roots start poking out of the ground, and yeah. You can spawn this tree if you try to chop it with an axe. Because it's a tree, it can't move. But if you don't know that this tree will hurt you, and you try to get it, you will get hurt. Because those roots and branches totally pack a punch. Do you remember the main menu that we did in the last episode? Well, that menu sucked, so I made this new one. And yes, the game's name is Dummy Island for now. This new menu has 3 buttons: play button, seed button, and a quit button. And I don't know why these textures are so compressed, but I try to fix it. So, when we made the map 4 times bigger in the last episode, the map was really bigger. So it was harder to find stuff like camps if you didn't know where they were. So I added these signs. They point to the nearest camp with a magician. And now, if you can't find a camp, it's your own fault. It's finally time for the last part of the script, so let's read it. And now, the last thing in this video. I made some bug fixes to the inventory system. So now you can add items to your inventory instantly. Let me explain what this means. I find code that breaks a loop and gives a null reference. Then I add a timer to this function, so it's now dependent on the update void and the timer. Now I remove these timers and made the proper code. Oh, I didn't write a script for this outro, so let me improvise. You like this video right now and subscribe to the channel, or I don't know. But get out now.